Hey everyone, it's Mike with BeastNet, and today I got with me Mark Haverland from the Teddy Bearcrawl. Um, Once again, let everyone know who you are, and then let's talk a little bit about how the year went for the Teddy Bearcrawl.
Okay, so yeah, I am Mark Haverland. I am from northern Minnesota. I am a Spartan obstacle course race runner who decided to bear crawl a Spartan Sprint and a Spartan Super 2 years ago. 2 years
Yep.
ago, technically last year, not 2 years ago yet. But anyway, this year we ended up partnering with Spartan or getting with Spartan, and a few of us have been leading up or taking charge of a half-mile bear crawl on the kids course on Sundays at 7 a.m. where we raise money to bring teddy bears to the local children's hospital wherever that event is taking place.
Nice. Then, which is amazing. So you did what, six this year, I believe?
In total, we ended up with 10 events total.
Okay, 10 events.
Yep.
10 events. And do you have numbers on how many teddy bears and all that you got?
So I actually
Of
have
course, I'm gonna ask the hard questions right off
right
the bat.
down here. I have them on my computer right down here. So in total, we were able to purchase and donate 3,142 teddy bears. With us raising $13,916 in this 1 year.
That's amazing.
It's beyond what I expected, right? We did 10 events, right? With one of them being thrown on as the Unbreakable event, and one was a Tough Mudder. So 8 of them were actually Spartans.
Mhm.
Our goal for each event was to raise $1,000 at each event. So we surpassed that goal in almost every one of the locations. But yeah, it's just absolutely mind-blowing to me how popular it got, how much money we were able to raise, how many teddy bears we were able to donate, and how big of an impact it really made. And really seeing the people that took part of it, how much they enjoyed doing it. And I mean, like just the other day, I saw in one of the Spartan Facebook groups, somebody's asking for the teddy bear crawl schedule for 2025 because they're like, we want to do this.
Oh yeah.
Um,
It's become one of those things. It's for someone who's done Spartans for years, this is a new aspect, but also at the same time, it's like when I'm doing this one, I'm helping a child in a hospital by getting him this teddy bear, um, which, if a child's in the hospital for something like that, for anything, it's not a good day,
no,
you know. And a lot of times people don't think these teddy bears may be the one bright thing for this child in that whole time, that whole stay, you know.
and that's the and that's the bottom line of our goal here. Our goal is to provide teddy bears, provide some form of comfort to a child when they're in the hospital. Some situations happen where I had a mother message me actually because they were traveling visiting family, and then they ended up on their way home. The child ended up sick, ended up in the hospital, and they didn't have anything with them, but they ended up getting one of the teddy bears that we donated, right? So when they received that teddy bear, it gave them something to have. They literally had nothing. They had a backpack with their change of clothes because it's supposed to be a one-night deal. They didn't expect to have an incident happen. But
Yeah.
the mom just expressed so much gratitude for receiving that teddy bear, just to have something for the kid in that situation, right? And that's what we're here for. The bear crawls are fun. They're challenging, fun.
Yeah.
We get to have a lot of fun when we do it. We've gotten people to dress up, wear costumes. They really embrace the bear aspect of it, right? We have people dressing up as Pokemon, Buckies, right? And they just come out. Not everybody bear crawls the entire half mile. You'll catch people, especially when we have the cameras out. They'll be walking, and then all of a sudden they see a camera, drop down to start bear crawling a little bit. I mean, it's
I may have done that.
running a race, right?
Yeah.
It's whatever than when you run a race. You could be dying in the run, but as soon as you see a photographer, I'm not tired now.
Nope.
But we're out there doing these half-mile bear crawls, and we're just having fun with it. But we're making it known and making it a thing to where people are going to donate money to where we can provide this comfort.
Mhm.
And that is our goal. That's our mission. Our mission is to provide that little bit of comfort to a child in need.
Yeah. And the one thing that I really love about it too is, I mean, some people don't know, like with a lot of charities, when you give to them and stuff, money will go to admins, it'll go to all this other stuff. And, you'll see it and you'll see, there's some famous, charities out there that people don't realize, like 10-15% of what you give actually goes to the people you think it's going to. The rest of it all goes to admin fees and everything else and the organization and all that. With the Teddy Bear Crawl, that it all goes to the teddy bears. Every one of you and everyone that's helped run all the ones last year and the ones that are going to help run next year, it's out of the kindness of their heart. This is volunteer. They're not getting paid. They're going to the race and they're doing all this to help the children. Every cent you give goes to the teddy bears.
Yep. Every single penny that is donated by these people, it is only for the teddy bears. Everybody involved with it, we're strictly volunteers, 100% volunteer foundation. I mean, it costs us money to go to these events.
Yeah.
And then we find a local Spartan in the area. They're the ones that going out of their way to make the delivery happen. They don't get anything for doing this. It's strictly volunteer. So every penny that you guys donate or anybody donates to the foundation, it's going to teddy bears.
Which is amazing. And that's one of the things I love about it is that you know, it's all to them. There's no administrative fees, there's nothing. If you give $50, that's $50 that's going to buy teddy bears.
Well, in this previous year, we used GoFundMe, which had their fees or whatever involved with that. But now
Yeah.
we're no longer with GoFundMe. We officially got registered as a 501c3. So now our payments are being able to run. We have a PayPal account now, and as well as a Stripe account. Obviously, every transaction has a little bit of a transaction fee in that aspect,
Yes.
but nowhere near what GoFundMe was.
Yeah.
But it just allows us to put more of that money to bears.
Yep. And I mean that's the whole purpose for this is to give bears to the kids, which is, like I said, is amazing. So
Right.
that's over what, 3,000 bears you said?
Huh?
That's over 3,000 bears?
Over 3,000. Yep. 3,142 bears
3,142 kids that got a bear while they're
all,
sitting at the hospital.
all over the country.
All over the country. And that's the thing is, I mean, if you've ever been in a hospital with a kid, which I'm sure anyone who's a parent, anyone who's, got nieces, nephews, whatever, you've been in the hospital with a child and seen how scary it can be for a kid. And for kids, you'd be surprised how easily just handing them a teddy bear and say, here's a teddy bear to help you. Here's a teddy bear to comfort you. Here's a teddy bear for you to cuddle with. How much that can change the way they feel and change their attitude.
And that's one thing, like when we go to deliver these bears, and I spoke to the unbreakable pass holders last week. So last Thursday I spoke to them and I kind of told them, like, generally we go and do this delivery, we drop the bears off, and that's the last of it. Like we don't get to see all the after effects of what we do. But getting these messages from parents, getting messages from the hospitals telling us what happened, like how heartfelt it is for them, or how much it means to them, it goes to show, or it proves what our mission is, right? It proves that the mission works.
Mm-hmm.
The purpose of it is there. The reason behind it is there. Uh, and that's what helps us. Like I told them, that's kind of what helps motivate me to keep going with this. Because for one, bear crawling a sprint and a super, like that's hard, right?
Yes.
But a lot of people are actually underestimating how much even bear crawling half a mile is. Now, bear crawling half a mile is not an easy thing to do, right? And
No.
like I told everybody in my speech that I made, we choose to go out there and do these half-mile bear crawls. we choose to put ourselves through these Spartan races. We choose to put ourselves in these positions to where we're gonna hurt, right? Uh,
Hmm.
we're choosing to be uncomfortable. These children in these hospitals, they did not choose to be there. They didn't choose to have whatever fight they're having to fight. They didn't choose that, right?
No.
So if we're out there and we decide that we want to give up on something that we chose to do, well, what are we giving up on? I mean, who are we to give up on that when we chose to put ourselves in that position? These kids are not giving up on their fight when they didn't choose for that.
No.
So that's kind of a motivation I have, and that's something that like really started to hit me lately about what we're doing. Especially now that I mean, the last time we talked about the possibility of a beast, and now my mouth is opened up, and that beast is uh, gonna be attempted next year. Um,
Yeah. I almost feel bad for saying it, but almost.
about the beast,
Yeah.
uh, you should.
I'm sure it was already in your brain before I said
It's just I know how I am, right?
it.
Like I did the sprint and super, and it's like if I don't ever try the beast, I don't think I'd ever be able to. Like later in life, I'll look back on it and be like, why didn't I try it? So we're gonna give it a shot. We're gonna see what happens. It's gonna suck.
Oh yeah. I mean, I thought I did a ruck fecta once in a weekend. I did Montana and I rucked the entire Montana trifecta weekend. Um, and it was one of those things. Once I got to the sprint, I'm like, this is stupid. I don't want to do it. I'm like, but I've already done the beast and the super, so might as well. So, and I mean, I wore it the whole way. I didn't take it off. There was a couple obstacles I took it off for just because after the doing the beast, like the shifting of the bag almost threw me off a couple obstacles. So there's a couple that I'm like, eh. But I mean, I wore it going to the slip wall. I took it off for the rope climb, but but it was Bender that almost threw me off. I went up and over as I came over the top of Bender, the pack shifted
Yeah,
and shifted on my back as I spun over, and all of a sudden it almost like kept me going. And I was like, whoa, if I hadn't had a good grip, I would have, you know, just kept rolling right off of it.
well, that's always that's part of the sketchiness of these, right?
Hmm.
And that's one of the biggest factors when I'm doing these bear crawls. You're on your like usually when you're doing these obstacle course races, you're on your feet, you're running, your legs get tired,
Yes.
right? Well, and then you get to an obstacle. The majority of the obstacles are upper body strength.
Hmm.
If you've been bear crawling for the last mile, 2 miles, your grip is gone, your shoulders are gone. Your upper body's just as taxed as your legs at that point. So it's like the obstacle is actually one of the things you have to worry about. In Arizona, when I did my 5K bear crawl there on the multi rig, my shoulder popped when I went to transition from one of the rings to the other one. I had to finish that my sprint bear crawl with a bum shoulder. Like I just waited for it to go numb to keep on going.
Yeah.
Um, it's not fun, you know.
No.
But
But
when you set a goal out, I mean, you push through and deal with the after effects afterwards, right?
yeah, you challenge yourself to go for it. I mean, that's one of the things, like, and I found, especially for me, once I say it, it's two things. When I say it and when I sign up for it, now I'm there. I'm in. It's
Yep.
like, doing the Iron Man again next year. He kept saying, I think I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. Then I signed up for it. Now it's like, well, guess I'm doing a 70.3 Ironman in April. So it's been, anybody who's friends with me on Strava, I mean, you've seen pretty much 3 times a week I'm swimming, 3 times a week I'm riding the bike, running almost every night, trying to, get into the shape that I need to. And I mean, that's the one thing is like once you pick what you're gonna do, you figure what you got to train to get there. And like
Right.
once you're saying I'm gonna bear crawl a beast, that's a whole different kind of training than running a beast. Because when you're running, you're running. When you're bear crawling, you got to get those shoulder muscles, like you said, you got to get the arms and the legs and that posture that you're going to be in for 13 miles, which is, if you're bear crawling, it could be 7, 8 hours.
It took me 7 hours for my super.
okay, 10, 11 hours, somewhere around there, 12,
I,
13, whatever. But
that's part of it. I need to get faster.
mhm.
Um, I need to get faster with my bear crawling in order to meet the cutoff because I'm doing it in Newberry next year, right?
Yeah,
Newberry is one of the locations where we're going to have a half-mile bear crawl, which next year we got a schedule for next year.
yeah.
It's going to be amazing. But I got to speed up my bear crawl in order to get that beast done. And during that time, like when I'm doing this beast, so we've been doing these half-mile bear crawls where we're raising money for that local children's hospital, right? When I'm doing the beast, we don't have Spartans here in Minnesota, so my plan is to have my own uh, uh, donations for me doing that beast that would come to the Minnesota hospitals. So my goal for that is to raise money for a Minnesota hospital by taking on that. And
Nice.
talking about the beast, like I know when we were at the Unbreakable event, we were doing that half-mile bear crawl, and one of the guys said, "Oh, we need to get a hold of the Guinness Book of World Records to make this an official record." Right?
Mm-hmm.
Told them, I'm like, before I did my sprint and super, I looked into getting in the Guinness Book of World Records. I did not realize that you got to pay to do that. Uh,
Oh, I didn't know that.
yeah, apparently, like when I emailed them now, I don't know if I just went the wrong route or whatever, but I got an email saying that I had to pay like $3,000 just to get a record admitted into the book. And I told them that, and they're like, "Well, let's raise that money." I'm like, "I'd rather have that $3,000 go to more teddy bears. I don't
Yeah,
care about my name being in a book." you know.
yeah,
So that's where I'm at with it. It'd be cool to be in that book, sure, but
yeah.
I'd rather have more teddy bears.
Oh
So
yeah. I mean,
I'm doing that.
$3,000. That's a few teddy bears you can buy, and I
Yeah,
mean it's one of those things that we've had. I think we've talked about this where it's like I've raced for years, and it's one of those things people are like, "Oh, did you win?" No. I mean, I didn't get on the podium, but I won because I helped somebody, or I won because I did this.
my win.
It's my win, and it's one of those things for me. Do I want my name up in lights? I mean, everybody does. It would be awesome to have my name up in lights, but if I had the choice of my name up in lights, but to do it, I have to screw over these people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go help these people, and that's kind of like with your what you're saying is I could take that $3,000 and get me into the Guinness Book of World Records, or
Get
I
more
can
teddy.
take that $3,000 and give some kids some teddy bears.
Right.
Like I'm giving the teddy bears.
Absolutely. And I mean, right now today, so we're 1 week away from when we did that Unbreakable event, Teddy Bear
Hmm.
Crawl. That was the first time that we were able to deliver teddy bears at the same time as the bear crawl.
Yeah.
Because we started at Spartan headquarters and we bear crawled to Nemours Children's Hospital, which ended up being exactly half a mile away from the headquarters. It's like it was meant to be, right?
Meant to be. Serendipity.
You know, we had 109 people bear crawling.
Wow.
And like there was a moment, like so there was a couple moments, right? There was a moment where we just all like I stood up and I looked behind me and saw all these people bear crawling, and I'm like, this is absolutely crazy. This is
Hmm.
like all of this because I did a stupid idea of bear crawling a sprint and apparently got in or got connected to the right people to make this happen. And the right people being Dan, Brian, and Steve.
Yeah.
you know? uh, but I look back and I'm like, this is absolutely amazing. And as we got closer to the hospital, we had the news there. We had Telemundo News, I believe it was, there to cover the story, and they were trying to time it so we had to only have a select few people go actually up to the hospital. We had to have some people, like a lot of them, stay back due to
Hmm.
confidentiality, patient,
Yeah.
because the hospital ended up having the children in the hospital come up to the windows to watch us bear crawl.
Yeah.
So they got to watch us. But while we were getting ready for that last stretch of crawling, a kid came out of the hospital, and the people who were carrying the bears were up ahead of us, and they handed him a bear on his way out of the hospital. And we all started clapping, cheering. It was one of those moments where just watching that, like in my mind, I'm like, this is what it's about. And somebody in the back is like, all right, give us a Spartan Aru on 3, and counted out 1, 2, 3. And we let out 3 loud, groundbreaking Arus. And I'm glad we had somebody catch that on camera, because that literally sent chills up my spine when we, like, everybody knew the mission, knew what the job was. And
Hmm.
they let out those Arus, and then we started. I don't know if we scared the kid or not by that, but I mean, it was absolutely amazing. It was probably one of the most memorable parts of this year. Grant, I don't take any of this for granted. Like, I'm so grateful for everything, but certain moments have stuck out in my head this year, and that is one of them. Seeing 109 of us crazy enough to bear crawl half a mile and deliver teddy bears, letting out what we let out at the start line of every obstacle course race as a kid comes out of that hospital. It was something I want to witness again, and I don't know if I ever will. But if we can make it a deal where every year we can bear crawl half a mile from Spartan headquarters to that hospital and deliver bears, I will find a way to get down to Orlando to be there for that, because I want that.
Which I mean is awesome. I mean, it's one of those things that, yeah, I wish I could have been there to see that. I really do. So maybe one of these years, if you do it again.
Well, Orlando is one of the locations where they're putting that new Spartan race next year in Orlando. It's going to be right in that area. Not 100% on how the Teddy Bearcrawl is going to happen, if it's just going to still be on a kids course there or not. But I would love, because we got a lot of things we're working on for it, but I would love to make it an annual thing for the Orlando Spartan weekend event, to where we can bear crawl from Spartan headquarters to Nemours and deliver bears that same time every year.
That
Uh,
would be amazing.
I would love for that to be the way it works. Obviously, some of this stuff is out of my hands. I don't control a lot of how that works, but it would be awesome if it does work out that way. At least
Would
have
be.
one where we deliver at the same time.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're next year we have 20 different locations.
I was gonna say that we've talked a lot about what this has been. Now let's talk about what it's gonna be. I mean, next year, I know a little bit about next year,
You
so
know a little about next year, right?
I know a little bit. So,
Well,
but
you're taking lead of one of the crawls.
I am. I'm gonna take a lead in Houston. So
There you
since
go.
that's where I live, but
Uh, yeah, as of now, we have 20 locations that we're going to be doing, 20 Spartans that we're going to be doing the teddy bear crawl at. And then we're going to do one at the New England OCR Expo as well. Um,
nice.
and just so people are aware, we do have the schedule out, or the list of places. Pretty much anything that you need to find out about this. We have a Teddy Bear Crawl Foundation page now on Facebook, and that's where the majority of all of our information, or all of our information, is going to be there. Um, we're still in the process of trying to find out ways of whether it's worth building a website or this and that. Trying to, because I mean, all this stuff costs money, you know.
It does.
So it's like we're trying to weigh reward with it. But for right now, we're just operating off the Facebook group. So we got those 20 locations plus New England OCR Expo. And we still have 6 locations right now pending. One of which is across the pond.
Oh,
Over in the European region. So
well, that'd be kind of cool. You're gonna go international.
it's a one that's on the edge right now. We're just waiting. We're waiting for some finalization. There's some big things that are in the works. Not everything can be revealed until it's official.
Don't want to
But
jinx it.
no, next year we're doubling the amount of locations, at least doubling it, and we're hoping to. I mean, my goal would be to double the amount we raise and double the amount double the amount of bears we donate. Like I said, we've had people asking for the schedule already. The best part is there's so many people that have never even heard of this yet.
Yeah.
And this in Central Florida, it was our last event, and we ended up getting donations from Trifecta Metals of a custom Teddy Bearcrawl like trifecta wedge display. And Mark from Trifecta Metals, he's the one that runs with all the Great Danes and the dogs for the Spartans. He generously donated them and said, "Do what you want with these. I love your cause." So we ended up taking 2 of those and we raffled them off at the Unbreakable event, or put them on the raffle for the Unbreakable event. And then 2 of them we awarded to the person who did the most teddy bear crawls this year. And the person that we were able to figure out has raised / donated the most money this year.
Nice.
Every one of our registrations is done in Google Docs. So if you are wanting any chance of this, because I have a feeling we're going to be doing this every year. If you're wanting to make sure you're documented for doing the most or doing your bear crawls, make sure you sign up on those Google Docs. Otherwise, we have no idea that you did this, right? But we had Laura Flynn. She did 6 teddy bear crawls, so she ended up with 2 trifectas. Because you do get trifecta medal. And Mike Creedman, he raised over $1,000 just by himself. We're able to get. And so next year, with us doing these 20 events, at least 20 events, you have the potential to do quite a few trifectas. If you get, just so you guys are aware, the kids medals, their trifectas is a triangle. And if you get 3 kids trifecta medals, they form a pyramid when they're put together. So if you do 9 teddy bear crawls, you can form a pyramid with your trifecta medals. Speaking of medals, hold on one second here.
No.
Another thing that's new next year. So I think we still have leftover medals from 2013 that we're going to be using, because we've been using all these medals are donated by Spartan. Otherwise they just get sent and melted, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to be using up whatever inventory we have. And everybody still doesn't care. They get their orange medal. But starting next year, we have this little Teddy Bearcrawl patch.
I want the patch.
So I have it on my Go Ruck bag right now. But everybody who does the Teddy Bearcrawl now earns a Teddy Bearcrawl Spartan Race patch. The Unbreakables got it at the Unbreakable event this year as the first people to ever receive it. But nobody at Central Florida got it, because we're saving it for next year.
I need to get me one of them.
So yeah, we got big things coming up, big plans. Like I said, I want us to be double what we did.
I think there's a good chance. I mean, when you went from, go from 10 to 20, hopefully we get, as many people, if not more, really excited about this. 'Cause, I mean, it's a great thing. I mean, you get to go. The one medal I'd never had until this year was the kids medal. Now I've never had the kids trifecta medal, so I'm gonna have to get myself 3 of these. But I've never had a kids medal because I didn't start doing Spartan until I was old, because Spartan wasn't around until I was old. But so I never got to do the kids races. So it was kind of cool to get the kids, because you get the medal, you get the headband, you basically like you're doing a kids race, but you have to bear crawl it.
Yep. And yeah, that's just it's amazing how much we love our medals, right? And the idea that you get a trifecta medal, like it's its own thing. It's not the same as what we get for the adults.
Yeah.
The idea, like I can't remember who it was that reminded me of the pyramid, or told me about the pyramid, but the idea that you can form a pyramid by doing 9 of these, I mean, technically you could get at least 2 pyramids next year if you did 18 teddy bear crawls. And the best part about these teddy bear crawls is if you want to sign up for them, you don't have to donate to sign up and take part.
You don't have to.
They're completely optional. We love the donations, that's why we do it. But if you can't donate, sign up, share the link. Maybe somebody you know can donate.
Mm-hmm.
Help fundraise. We have different fundraisers that we're going to be working on as well. But just show up. We want people just to enjoy it. And all of our marketing has been Facebook and word of mouth. That's the only way people have found out about this.
Yeah.
So if you sign up and you can't donate, you're still helping promote the teddy bear crawl. Post about it. And that's all we want.
Oh, yeah. And that's, I mean, I've been sharing it and everything else because I want to see Houston beat everybody. So I've got a couple different groups that I run with down here in Houston, a Texas Rucking Group and, a hybrid running group. And I'm like, hey, next year,
Mm-hmm.
well, we need to all go do this. So I will be there and I will be in a Buc-ee's onesie, just so you know.
I keep on telling like the 4 of us that run it, Dan, Brian, and Steve, I'm like, we need to think of it an award for each location for the best costume. I personally want like a costume contest.
That would be awesome.
and oh, just another thing I want to say about these teddy bear crawls too is one of the most common questions we get. When is it? And is there any other time for it?
Yeah.
So the teddy bear crawl is always 7 a.m. on Sundays. Okay. The only people that are this interferes with are those who run competitive. Now there has been some talk about if like the lead person is there early, which me being who I am, I'm notoriously early for everything. I'm always at least half an hour early.
Yeah.
If I'm standing around at 6:30 and you show up and you want to go do your bear crawl before you run, just go out there and do it. Okay. Get it done with and get your medal. I'm perfectly fine with that. Like if that's what it takes. But the official teddy bear crawl is 7 a.m. on Sundays. It's not going to change. That doesn't interfere with any of the kids' races. It doesn't put any more work on Spartan. If you're in a rush or if you get stuck in registration and you're running an open heat, you can just go through registration to do the teddy bear crawl and then go back to get your packet. You don't need to check in at registration. This is not an official Spartan event. We're trying to keep the work off of Spartan. They're generous enough to let us do this. We don't want to create work for them, so it's not going to be an official thing. Hopefully next year we can communicate a little bit better with the people that are on the ground, to at least if they get asked what to do or where we're at, they can answer some of those questions. But it's not their responsibility because it's not a Spartan event.
Yeah.
So that's just one of the things is we always get asked, oh, can you do, or do you do it any other times? No.
No, that's it. And it's one of those things, like you said, it's tough to make this all work and come together. And Spartan's generous enough to say, hey,
Mm-hmm.
you can use the kids race, but you can't interfere with it. Well, we got to get done before the kids race starts and get out of the way. So it's kind of one of those things that, I mean, it sucks that it sucks, but it doesn't that you have one chance. You have 7 o'clock to do it, but it doesn't mean you can't, still donate.
But yeah, donate. Like, I mean, if you can't make it, we will still take your donation.
Mm-hmm. We'll definitely take the donation.
If you're dead set on earning this and you want to join the teddy bear crawl, I mean, I understand people like to run competitive. That's what they do, right? But
Yeah.
if you really, really wanted to bear crawl and be part of this, pick one of the weekends that we're doing it and just be like, hey, I don't need to run competitive today.
Yeah.
I
You
mean,
don't have to.
it it's ultimately your choice of which one you want to choose. And I'm not trying to sit there and make you feel bad, like, oh no, you don't care about the kids. No, that's not what I'm trying to do.
No.
If it really means a lot, we're not going to change our time and when we do it. If you need to adjust your schedule to make it there at that time, then you can do that.
Yeah.
However, it's going to be the same all the time.
Yeah, it's gonna be the same. And I mean, the one thing is too that at least it's good that it's on Sundays, because most of us, if you do, the ultras and stuff like that, the ultras start even earlier.
Yeah.
So for those that
Well,
have done those,
I mean, I don't know if it's really good that it's on Sundays if you do an ultra and then decide that you're going to go bear crawl.
you
But
did fine in Dallas.
oh, that hurt.
Well, I'm sure it did, but you did the ultra and then you did the bear crawl the next morning. I remember.
I got to go check on people.
Yeah. Hey, you still got that purple medal,
Right, right.
and now you got that purple shield thing. But
Dude, that was that was something I did not see coming. I honestly didn't know much about it. I've seen like the nomination forms and stuff like that, and I didn't really pay much attention to it personally. But it's very rare that like, and I posted about this, how it's very rare that I get surprised. I like to know what's going on, and I ask a lot of questions, and I'm pretty nosy about trying to find
mhm.
out. Uh, so for me to get that, like when I when I get surprised like that, and I get very like emotional, I just don't talk. And when I went up there to grab it, I had no words to say. I mean, I just got done talking for 10 minutes in my speech to all these people. And
Yeah.
then and I just walk up there, shake Tom's hand, get the picture, and just go sit down without saying a word. Cause I'm like, what do you say? Like, I just got done telling you guys that I can't thank you enough for supporting the teddy bear crawl. And then for this, I was like, oh, come on.
It was one of those things, and I'll be honest, I didn't realize. I'll be honest, I did not realize that he told you who nominated.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it was like, oh crap, I didn't know you were gonna tell him. But when he was sitting there and he messaged, because I talk to Tom all the time, because I've
Mhm.
got some of the stuff that he's given me, um, and he's like, oh yeah, I have three people that I'm giving it to, and one of the requirements they have to be someone who's ex-military, and I'm like, oh well, so I'll be honest, I went to your like Facebook, I'm like, oh yeah, Navy, okay, cool, yeah. Do this guy because he's done so much for with the teddy bear crawl and all that. So it's just like I'm like, if anybody deserves it, it's him. No,
Good.
he's done so much for so many other people that you need to be recognized for that.
And it's one of like I said, I could never thank people enough. Like I really appreciate it. I obviously don't do what I do for recognition.
No,
Uh, I but it is always nice to be recognized.
yeah,
You know. But no, that was a very big surprise.
yeah. I wasn't even gonna bring it, but it was one of those things like with Tom. All of a sudden, when you messaged me, and I'm like, damn it, he told him it was me. Like I
Well,
didn't think that part was gonna happen. Yeah.
what's funny about the whole situation was so it's the Unbreakable event, right? I
Mm-hmm.
was um invited to join because of the Teddy Bear Crawl Foundation, speaking for the Teddy Bear Crawl Foundation, because I am not an Unbreakable pass holder. So I'm sitting there messaging Dan, and throughout the whole time, I was trying to figure out because I didn't know really what this event was about, or um, am I allowed to have like my wife and my kid with me because they were all down in Florida. We had friends
Yeah.
flying to Wisconsin, and it came to where like the people that were there, they weren't able to bring plus ones or anything like that. So it was just like, oh, okay, well then, I told my wife and my son and our friends, I was like, I'm sorry, but they're not allowing plus ones for this, and I got to go to for the Teddy Bear Crawl Foundation, right? So we get there and drop the Wi-Fi, or we just landed in Orlando, and we were getting ready to check into the hotel, or actually we're traveling to the airport, and my and I get a message from Dan. He's like, "Hey, your wife's able to show up tonight." I'm like, "Oh, well, that was a quick change." So
Yeah.
she's supposed to go pick up our friends from the airport at like 5 o'clock, and this event starts at 6. So she goes back and picks them up, and then she comes, and come to find out, the reason she was allowed to be there was because of this. And we're like,
Yeah.
well, you guys did pretty good at hiding that. But
It's like I said, like what's like, he was saying there was two people. I'm like, yeah, there's only one person I can think of with everything that you've done with the teddy bear crawl and for everybody else. And it is one of those things that it's, to me, the people that don't ask for recognition are the ones that deserve it the most. Because you're not out there trying to get recognition for your actions. The only like I see you, posting the things about Teddy Bear Crawl and the things you're doing and all that stuff, not in a way to get recognition for you. It's to get more, traffic for the Teddy Bear Foundation. And that is the difference that I see with like a lot of people where you see people like, oh, hey, look at me. And you're not like, hey, look at me. You're like, hey, look at the Foundation. So I just, felt like you needed a little bit of recognition for everything that you're doing. I mean, it's amazing what you've been able to do in 1 year.
uh, and it's greatly appreciated, right? But at the same time, if it wasn't for the people that work with me, that if it was just me, this would have never happened.
Yeah.
And that's what I'll always tell people. It was not just a me effort. It was definitely a team that was able to make this happen, and it's still a team that's making it get even bigger next year, and it's a team that's going to make it bigger in 2026 and every year that's going forward.
Yeah.
I've been very, very, very fortunate to make the connections that I have and be connected with the people that I have to make this happen. And it's something that like I've said many times, I could never express in words how like grateful I am for everything that's happened. Uh, I would have never imagined to be bear crawling with 109 other people. Like, like that's just a lot.
Yeah. And it's amazing, but it's one of those things, and I think that's the other thing that kind of makes you really stand out is you're very quick at like pushing not in a bad way, but pushing that to everyone else. It's never it's never about you. It's about the team. And that's one of the things that I think is amazing about you. That you don't want to be the center. You want the team to be the center. And that's the sign of a true leadership.
Well, I guess I really don't know what to say to it. I just know that I just feel if someone takes credit for something that somebody else has done, um, I find those people fake. If
Exactly.
I sit here and say that this would have never happened without me, and I'm the only reason this has ever happened, right? Or this grew to what it was, right? Um, I would hate myself because those are the people that I can't stand.
Exactly, but that's what makes it grow, and that's what makes like people like me like say, "Hey, whatever you need, I'm here for you." Because I know that you aren't doing this to have your name up in lights. You're not doing this to be, known as this great person who did stuff. You're doing this because kids need to feel good and they need teddy bears. And that's why I will get behind this every time.
And getting people to help us out, like people that we trust to take on this lead. Like we have people all the time asking us, "Hey, are you going to be at this location or this one, or why aren't you being here?" And part of that reason is because we're just not going there. Like we don't have somebody doing that event. Like we talked about earlier in this podcast, like, everybody's a volunteer.
Hmm.
So it happens that these are the events we're doing. So we're gonna have a teddy bear crawl there. That's the only reason we have it there.
Yeah.
If we're not gonna go to a place that we don't plan on doing just because of the teddy bear crawl. Um, I mean, I guess I would. This last year I wasn't going to run any Spartans, and then I ended up with going to 4 different events. But you know, when
It happens.
I'm running a race, I'm also doing my own thing. But we just happen to be there and do the teddy bear crawl there. But that's how we choose where we're going to bring these. Is all right. We went through the list of the 4 people we had. Are you going to be there? Are you going to be here? Or are you going to be there? Right. That's why we only had the 8 Spartan locations, or the 10 total. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, next year we have a couple more people that are joining the team to allow us to go to more spots. But with this too, we got to be very protective of who we allow to run lead, because like we said, Spartan is very generous to let us do this. We got to be careful about what we do, because we don't want to ruin what Spartan's allowing us to do.
Yeah, because you put the wrong person in a position, they do something to upset Spartan, and then all of a sudden this whole thing just gets
It's
wiped away.
right. And that's the last thing we want.
Yeah,
So we have people that want us to go huge, right?
yeah,
We go huge. We want teddy bears from us in every single hospital, in every single city.
yeah. That
But
would be amazing.
the reality of it is we don't want to grow too fast where we can't control
Yeah.
it.
Oh yeah. And
And
like I said, you get the wrong people in the wrong position. Oh, sorry.
oh no, I was gonna say it's not like we need full on control of what happens at every event, right? But we need to be sure that nothing bad happens at
Yeah.
these.
And in this day and age, perception and you know, uh, is reality. People see something and they say, "Oh, hey, I did tried doing the teddy bear crawl over here in this city, and it was a complete cluster, and the person did this and that, and they were rude, and they were yelled at Spartan, and they did all this, and then the Spartan staff's like, yeah, I don't want to deal with those teddy bear crawl people anymore." Well, it was because there was one person, because you were like, "Oh, we want it everywhere," and you're like, "Oh, hey, who wants to do this?" And you
Right,
may get that person that's just doing it because they want the attention,
right.
and then they do the wrong thing. They make, the wrong choice, or they just don't know what they're doing. You know,
And and that's just it. We don't want to damage anything on the
yeah,
kids. We want to make sure we keep Spartan happy. They've treated us way too well to do anything that would potentially upset Spartan.
yeah,
Um, so we got to make sure we be careful of who we have leading these. Or I shouldn't say really be careful. We just got to be mindful of who we have.
yeah,
Um, that's why when you go to these events, whoever's the lead, we trust them. We put trust in them. So don't go there and see and end up thinking you're going to see me and I'm not there and be like, well, this guy don't know what he's doing. No, we don't put people in charge of this that we don't trust, or
yeah.
that doesn't know what's going on. Listen to them, respect them.
Hmm.
You
Yeah.
know,
So, all right. Well, we're getting close to that hour mark. What are the things you got to say to the listeners? I mean, I'm gonna make sure once we're done with this, I will make sure there's links to how to donate, schedule if we can, that we have, and then the Teddy Bear Foundation on Facebook so that everyone can find it.
okay, yeah. Right now, we don't have the full schedule on our Linktree yet. We're working bit by bit, getting that upload or updated. The biggest thing that I want to say really is, if you are doing these, we've gotten a lot of people where we just kind of rope them in the day of or the day before. Please still go on to the Google Doc form and put your name in that you did it. Um, that way we can actually keep track of how many people we actually have taking part in these. Um, and if you can't donate, share the foundation. Like, the more eyes that see it, the more possibility there is of somebody donating $5. $5 gets a teddy bear. That every $5 gets one teddy bear, right?
Hmm.
Um, and if you can't do $5, that's okay. Share the link. Maybe somebody can do $5.
Yeah.
There's And if you have any questions, reach out to the Teddy Bearcrawl Foundation on Facebook. A couple of us, I believe all four of us, myself, Dan, Brian, and Steve, I believe are all admins of that. So we control or respond back to whoever messages us there. Otherwise, you can reach out to us personally. We have no problem. We do have an email, teddybearcrawl@yahoo.com, as well. So if you have any questions, go ahead and email us there as well. But no, I am really looking forward to this. Spread the word as much as you can. That's how people get to know about it. We're still word of mouth. We're 100% volunteer. Nobody makes money off of this. All we do is provide teddy bears. And that's all we care about.
Which is amazing. All right. Well, thank you for coming on here again. I'm sure we'll do another one partway through the year to get, to push people towards the foundation to do some more. But it's always amazing to talk to you, and I can't wait to see you again next year on the course.
All right. Thanks for having me on, boss.
All right. Anytime.
All right.
All right.
Bye.